Brompton Libby. I'm off on a camper van bike trip. It's only a day trip. First of all, I'm heading north across the River Forth, crossing the Queensferry crossing. I'm not going too far, just a little bit up the M90 up as far as Kinross. Little town, historic town on the shores of Loch Leven. And there's the Loch Leven Heritage Trail, is a trail, a 13-mile, something like that, trail around the shores of Loch Leven. And that's my plan for today. First outing, as it were, in the camper van with the Brompton packed up in the back for a wee cycle. It's a bright, sunshiny day. There's a light breeze coming from the south. It's damn cold though, only about 3 or 4 degrees I think. But feels a wee bit warmer than that in the sun. See you soon. I'm heading to Kirkgate Point to park by the churchyard at the far end of Kirkgate Park. It's one of 2 good car parks in Kinross. The other one is at Kinross Pier, but the views of the loch are better from here. There's a couple of motorbikers about to leave from the spot I want, so I'll just stop here until they go. Two o'clock. Let's get started. It's a bit blustery as I set off, but on the bright side it's also a bit warmer than I was expecting. The Heritage Trail passes right by the car park, and I'll be heading round the loch in a clockwise direction. Oh, it's windy anyway. There's a viewing point. Kirkgate Point gives a good view right across and around the loch, but my action cam, I'm sorry, doesn't really do it justice. But we'll see more as we go on our way. The churchyard walls give way to the Fish Gate. It's an entrance to the grounds of the Grade 1 listed Kinross House. The house was built in the 17th century and is aligned to look directly out onto Loch Leven Castle. The castle is probably best known as being where Mary, Queen of Scots, was imprisoned in 1567 and where she was forced to abdicate. Parts of the castle are thought to date as far back as 1300. Some fellow adventurers. Hello. Loch Leven is a highly designated and internationally important nature reserve. The trail passes through varied woods and marshland. Surrounded by fertile agricultural land, the loch has a rich ecosystem that supports many different species of plants, insects, fish and birds. It's of particular significance to migrating birds due to its lowland location, shallow, nutrient-rich waters, large water surface and islands which provide safe nesting sites. Isn't that body? At this point I could hear something rubbing around my back wheel, so I stopped, thinking it was something like a twig that had got stuck somewhere. What I found was caked mud, jammed between the tyre and the mudguard. After a decent bit of battering in the mudguard, it all seemed to come loose and I carried on. I was just a wee bit puzzled as to where the mud had come from. Mud. No wonder it's a bloody hard to bear. All clogged up with mud. Oh wow. All of a sudden it feels easy. Up until this point, the trail has been part of Route 1 of the National Cycle Network, but this is where the NCN branches off northwards. It goes in the direction of Loch Leven Larder, where there's a car park and a cafe. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I'm carrying on around the loch and passing through Carshall Bog with its muddy path and reed beds. Beyond Carshall Bog, the trail enters the Black Woods and zigzags its way down almost the entire eastern shore of the loch. From time to time the trail runs along the edge of the woodland, giving fine views across the farmland. Now the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but I can see a glider approaching Portmoak Airfield just to the south. Oh, pushing against mud. Jammed in between the wheel and the mudguard. It's like pedaling with the brakes on.
through the trees there. Don't know if it's picked up in the camera. It's, I think it's Portmoak Airfield, Scottish Gliding Centre. I need to clear the mud from my mudguards. Another twig. This mud's more like concrete. This is solid. I can see that. Still here. Come on, you.
It didn't take long for the mud to build up again. Pedalling felt like I was riding uphill against a headwind, but I was on a flat, sheltered path. I spotted a drain just here, off to the right, and decided to try to wash the mud out. Walking back here, without my weight on the bike, the back wheel would not turn at all. This bridge crosses the River Leven, flowing out from the loch.
Oh, a bit of tarmac, that's welcome.
I'm at Findati now, and ahead is the sluice building that controls the outflow from the loch. Just a short way up the path on the left is Loch Leven Lodge coffee shop and car park.
building up again already.
Yet again the mud was holding me back. This wee beach gave me another chance to wash it out.
Oh, jeez, this mud is really hitting me.
There's just a wee climb here up to the beginning of the RSPB managed section of the nature reserve. From the information board there's a good view over to St Cerf's Inch, which is the largest island on the loch, and it's a protected nesting site. The island is home to the remains of a monastic settlement dating back to at least the 11th century. This is the old entrance tunnel to the RSPB Visitor Centre at Vane Farm, which is on the other side of the B9097 road. There's a new, much grander entrance tunnel just a wee bit further on. We'll come to that. From here we get a good view over the managed wetland area of the reserve, but to be honest that's not what's on my mind at the moment.
So the van is away over there, the other side of the loch. And this path is driving me around the bend. The mud on it is just so claggy. You can't stop pedalling. The mud is just stopping the wheels from turning. I need to find some way of clearing this. Farm. I'll take you to the RSPB cafe and shop. Oh, I'm just pulling up almost back in. I'm actually unable to pedal any harder. Oh dear, let's just give it up. Right, I've got 12.4 kilometres completed. And I've just completely cleared the back wheel of the concrete like mud that's gathered in it. This next section doesn't look great. I wonder how far I'll get before I have to stop again, or before the mud actually physically stops the bike. more mud all the way along here. A whole kilometre, still pedaling reasonably freely.
Hello! There's a fine panoramic view from up here, but the wind's really getting up now. At least it'll be pushing me all the way back to Kinross. I just need to clear yet more mud from my wheel before setting off. Still going? Are you still going? Yep. Where the east side was a winding trail sheltered through the woodlands, the west is a series of long, straight sections open to the elements. I'm just glad that it's a dry day and that the wind is behind me. I'm kind of hoping that this water will clear some of that mud. My wheels don't seem to be picking up as much mud along here. Along this stretch, the trail follows the line of an old dismantled railway. Perhaps that makes a difference. Whatever, I'm not complaining. Three rail lines used to converge on Kinross. This mural commemorating the trains marks a choice of route. Do I continue on the path round to Kinross Pier, or do I take a break from the mud and detour through the town?
So we'll go right, carries on around the shore back to where I started, or I can go left into the town and from there back to where I started. I think I'm going to do it that way. Have a wee look into the town. Get a break from the mud.
I'm long enough in the tooth to remember cycling here before the M90 was built, when this road was the main north-south trunk route. It's much quieter and safer place now. I'm just passing the lane along to Kirkgate Park, but I'm carrying on down the road to Kinross Pier. That's the Heritage Trail continuing along to the left. During the summer months, Heritage Environment Scotland run boat trips from the pier out to Loch Leven Castle on Castle Island straight ahead. I can just make out Henry the camper van too, a bit to the left at Kirkgate Point. Hello. The trail follows the shore along the bottom of Kirkgate Park. I'll be glad to get back to the van for a mug of tea. My ride's taken more than double the time I'd expected, because I'd had to stop so often to clear mud from my back wheel, but it's been an enjoyable one nonetheless. I'd do it again, just without mudguards and maybe with different tyres. Job done. Wow, I needed that. Well, that was the Loch Leven Heritage Trail, about 21 kilometres all round the loch. As I expected, it was flat as a pancake, flat as a lochside run would be expected to be. The only rise on the thing, which I hardly noticed to be honest, I didn't actually think I'd done the hill to it, was the viewpoint just past the Vane Centre, the RSPB Centre. That was a wonderful viewpoint, lovely viewpoint, but the wind was getting up pretty bad then. You got a really good view from up there, and yet it was only at best about 20 metres above the height of the water's edge, but it was really good. So I've really enjoyed my ride. It was a lot more difficult than I had expected, however. I had read a couple of blogs of people riding Bromptons around this trail, and the general feeling seems to be that the mud can be a problem, but I never really took it as seriously as perhaps I should have. That mud was like blooming concrete. It's quite a stony path all the way around, and it's hard packed into very fine mud, and over the last few nights there's been quite hard frosts, and I think that's maybe unsettled it, but it's very, very sticky stuff. So it was damp, and it was just jamming between my back wheel and the mudguard at the back. It would have been fine if I didn't have a mudguard, but the way Bromptons are made, my Brompton comes with mudguards, and to take the mudguard off is actually quite a big job. I guess if I didn't have mudguards on, I probably wouldn't have been having too much of a problem. Although the mud was so sticky, you could feel it holding you back just rolling through it, but it was building up between the wheel and the mudguard really badly, and I finished up taking a tyre lever to clear it out, and going round the east side of the loch there, I was stopping not even every kilometre to clear it off, and the mud was getting so thick it was actually stopping the wheel from turning. It was working better than the blooming brakes were working. Took your feet off the pedals and the bike just came to a stop. So yeah, it's really sticky stuff, certainly when it's wet. I imagine when it's dry, after a dry spell, it'll be a bit like just like riding on a hard dusty surface. But today that was really hard, and it was really hard going for a flat route. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. It's a really peaceful route around the loch there. Lots of lovely little wooden seats around the place where you can sit and look out onto the loch or towards the hills. Very peaceful, very pleasant run. So yeah, it was really good. So I'm just going to take another we're going back down through Kinross, back onto the motorway, and then off home. Right, so we'll end the vlog here. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for sticking with me. Ride with me again. Lost in Living.